Okay, let's learn about the new topic today, Xpath. So Xpath is a way to find element in HTML web pages. So HTML web pages means this is an example where we are going to find our Xpath by ID, class, by contents, by name, placeholder, different way. But this is a simple example. We will see the real example and we will do the Xpath. So first of all, let's see our basic Xpath syntax. So we have our tag name. We basically don't use this one because this is not a stable one. So tag name is our button, which is our here. As you can see, this is our tag name, right? So this means it will select all the button element, right? So here selecting by attributes. So attributes means here we have our syntax tag attribute is equal to value. So tag means what? Our button, right? So attribute means our ID, right? And value means our here login, right? So this is we are going to select according to our ID. So this is very important. This is a stable as well. So here using a text. So using a text means we have a syntax over here. Text is equal to value. In tag we are going to write button. Text we are going to write here text because we are going to find the value. We are going to find a button by the text. So value means our login, which is our here login, right? So that is our value. So we have a contains. So used when a text attributes in is not exact. So when text or attribute is not exact, that means when attributes and text are not exactly given or many duplications are there, then in that scenario you can use it. So contains attribute value. So here tag means button, content means here contains, attributes means id, value means our log. So log will see log 1 2 3 username everything, right? So starts with means in starts with we are going to use our tag here. So tag is our input, starts with, attribute means id, value means use. So why we are going to use only? So here in use, so use means we are going to see the real example by here. Now let's see over here. So as you can see, we have seen the starts with, which is only use or use, right? So in attributes, as you can see here, our id is equal to username. So what we can include here is user, right? Why we are going to include only user? Because it starts with means it will only see which element it is going to starts with. So it is going to write that one, right? So let's see from here example. So this is our input field for what? For a username. Now we are going to see the exactly how we are going to do it. Is very important as well. Let's see from here we have this our input class, placeholder, type, data text. So we are going to use this one for Xpath. Let's see from id, how we can find an id. From here you can see where our id is. This is our id, username, right? So here input is input. So our tag name is input here. Before we have seen a button one, now we are going to see the input one. So input is our tag name, and then our id is equal to what? It is going to be a username, right? So it is going to be stable one, id one, right? Now let's see by name. So name is our username, right? So how we can write is input. So here name is equal to username simply, right? Now let's see by a placeholder, right? So where is our placeholder? As you can see here, here is our placeholder. So different way we can find our Xpath. So let's see all the types of Xpath, so we don't have any confusion later on when we are going to do the automations. So here we have a placeholder username. We have a placeholder which is our username, right? How we can write is input placeholder is equal to username, right? Okay, let's see by a type is equal to text. So how we can write input type is equal to text, but it is not kind of stable because as you can see here, I have already written text have a 6 matches. So we have a duplications, right? Order 5 matches as well. So due to that, it's kind of unstable when we write a type is equal to text. Moving forward, so we have a data test. So in data test, how we can write is our input data test is equal to username. It is a stable one and also used in automations. And we are going to see by class. We have also our class. When we don't have id or we don't have any other things, other elements to put, then we can write also a class, which is our input error from input, right? So dynamic case. So in for a dynamic case for a class, how what we can do is, we can simply write input contains, here our class name is equal to what, form input. We can simply write this one, form input. And then for id, what we are going to write is, simply we are going to write the user, right, for id. So we have a multiple conditions as well, for a strong xpath. If you want to use for a multiple conditions, we can write our id, right? We have our id, and as well as we can write our type, which is our text, right? For a multiple conditions, we can have this one. This is a strong xpath when we are going to use id. And okay, let's see the difference between HTML and XML. HTML is helps to build the web pages, whereas XML is used to store or transfer the data. HTML has a pre-structured tags, whereas the XML does not have a pre-structured tags. It has a custom made, whereas the HTML handles the error handling, whereas XML does not handle the error handling. That's why it will follow the proper structure, right? And then also it is the html has a closing tags, which is also so optional sometimes, but xml, it is mandatory to follow the optional, follow the closing tag as well. html is strict. HTML is not a strict, but XML is strict because it is a custom made. It should follow the structure, and if you don't follow the structure, it is going to give an error, and which is and xml does not handle the error handling, right? So here we have the purpose of html is used to for the web page ui, whereas xml is used for the purpose of xml is for the data storage, right? So let's see about the DOM. So DOM stands for the document object model. So basically DOM is a tree structure of a web page. A web page means HTML, right? So HTML code, we have HTML body, then the button, right? So according to that, so browser converts it into the tree like HTML, then body, then div, then button, right? So this tree is called a document object model. So we have DOM is very important because Xpath works on DOM, Playwright also work on DOM, and JavaScript works on DOM. So that's why DOM is like how browser will understand and organize in your web page, right? So DOM is like an object. Each element becomes an object, like our, here you can see our button becomes our button object, our input becomes our input object, right? So every element becomes an object. So this is how much important the DOM is. So you can interact with DOM. So as we can see, we have done yesterday a playwright where we have interact with DOM. Like what we have used is, for example of a DOM is, so where we have await, sorry, not comma, await this dot page dot locator. Here we have our here button, right? And then we simply click it. So this is our DOM example, and DOM is our tree structure. It is our dynamic and created by our browser. So where HTML is our what, raw code, and it is static, and it is written by a developer. DOM is a tree structure and dynamic as well, and also created by browser, not by a developer. So HTML is created by developer. So that's why HTML is like button, login button, but when we click, so DOM changes the dynamically after clicking. So as you can see it over this dot page dot, okay, so this will change dynamically, right? So this is how DOM works in Playwright automations, right? Okay, let's see our parent class and child class. So parent class is our like parent class will go up if the useful, it is useful when the child has no unique attributes, right? And child class is like it will go down, useful to narrow down from the parents. So what is a parent and a child? As we can see here, we have an example. Div means our parent, button is our child class. So this is how we can write our syntax over here. So parent, if let's see the example where parent go up, right? Or let's say example where parent will go up to the, so div will go from input, so div means parent, so div will go down to the input, which is the child. In that scenario, we have a syntax input at the rate id is equal to username, right? We'll see in a real example as well. And we have a child which will go from input from dev, so it will go up to the dev, which will be our parent class, so which will be our div at the rate class is equal to form and input. So this is our parent and this is our child class. So let's see in a in an example. Here you can see we have an example. As we can see here, div class is our parent class, input is our what, child class. Now as we can see here, if we take an example from div from input, then this div from input, then in that scenario input will come front, and then we have to write div, right, which is our in div class form group, input will be in the front, and then at the rate id, because parent class will come down, in that scenario input will be in the front and at the rate id will be your username, right? So in that scenario, if we see the child which will go up to the go up with the div, in that scenario what we are going to do is in a div we are going to write a class, and then we simply include a child class which will be our input. So this is how we can see and do the parent and child class. Okay, we have seen the XPath. Now let's check it out, the CSS selector. So CSS selector is a way to find the element in a web page which is in a document object models. So why we use the CSS selector? We use the CSS selector to locate the element and interact with them. It is a faster, right? So it is preferred in a Playwright as well, and a model tools like Playwright, Cypress also prefers the CSS selector. It is better performance in a larger app. CSS selector is faster and simple, whereas XPath will be complicated, but it's more performative. Also, when you don't have attributes, right, then you can use the XPath. But in CSS selector it is better performance when testing big applications. It is clean and maintainable code, right? So we have here how we can write. We have a by id. In by id what we are going to do is we will write hash. By class we are going to write here dot input field. So by tag we are writing button. By attributes we are writing simple input id is equal to username, right? And combinations we are going to write input dot input field. So these are the CSS selector. And also CSS selector cannot go to the parent as a XPath can go to the parent children, but XPath can do it, CSS cannot. So it is CSS is more faster and simple, but XPath is powerful and also very flexible, as you can see, because it is it uses the parent and child class, right? So CSS selector is also very important, and also it is faster, simple, and easy to locate the element in document object models for automations.